Joining us now, Eugene Daniels, Politico White House correspondent and MSNBC political contributor, and Nick Kristof, columnist for The New York Times. It's good to have both of you here. Nick, I've known you. I've read you for a very long time. I know you don't take your position or your influence lightly. You could have said, let's take a breath. Let's see what the polls show. Let's see how Joe Biden does in the coming weeks. You didn't. So tell us more about your argument and your decision to make it now.
Sure. I mean, and I wrote that with a heavy heart. I've known and admired Biden for many years, and I think he had a great first term. But, you know, he made the point himself today, just now in North Carolina, that that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, that the stakes are enormous in this election. And given that argument, which I think is completely right, then I think we need to do everything possible to ensure that Trump does not win. And, you know, look, I think Trump already arguably had an edge before the debate. I think that debate is, you know, raised an awful lot of questions in the minds of a tremendous number of centrist voters. And, you know, is it possible that the North Carolina Biden will reappear steadily every time between now and November? Yes. But it's also possible that the debate Biden will appear periodically, and we don't have the chance after the convention to choose a nominee who will be a stronger candidate. So I think the time is now. I think we have better nominees who are more likely to keep Trump out of the White House, and to me, that's paramount.
Who are they, Nick? And how do you see this potentially playing out?
The only way that it would work is if President Biden himself decided to bow out of the race. I think that, you know, Democrats are going to be reluctant to urge Biden out for fear of harming him if he stays in. It's easy for columnists to do that. It's a lot harder if you're a Democratic office holder. But if Biden were to bow out and throw it to an open convention, then that could proceed. It would create, I think, some risks of chaos. It would also create perhaps some excitement about who would take over the nomination. And I think there's actually a pretty decent bench in the Democratic Party. Gretchen Whitmer is somebody who I think, you know, would help win Michigan. And Michigan is a pretty crucial state the Democrats have to win. So she might be on the top of my list. But, I think Pete Buttigieg is a very impressive guy. Gavin Newsom is impressive. Gina Raimondo. I think there are a bunch of strong folks, but maybe Gretchen Whitmer would be right at the top of my list.
Eugene, in new reporting, I know that you spoke to about a dozen Democrats about Biden's performance last night. One of them said Biden is toast. Another said time for an open convention. But we live in a 15-minute campaign cycle, right? And we know that there were concerns before this about Biden's age. But did this escalate to, as David Plouffe said on our air last night, a DEFCON 1?
Yeah, people weren't surprised, right? But they were shocked, right? This is an extreme case of something that folks have seen off and on for years, right? You have a president who, at best, in some of these performances, has been kind of inconsistent, right? One day, as we saw today, he's on fire at the State of the Union. He's going back and forth and negotiating with members of Congress in real time, and then he'll do a speech or an interview. Can't really hear what he's saying, those kinds of things. But last night was the worst case scenario for Democrats, right? You had a Biden campaign who chose, it's important for people to remember, they chose this early debate. They wanted to focus the American people on the choice in November, get people to pay attention earlier than they do, because typically they would do this after both of these men are already officially the nominees of the party. Replacing them is much, much harder. The American people are paying a lot more attention, but they chose to do the June 27th debate. So this is their issue that they created. And it was a bet that failed kind of miserably. And when you talk to Democrats, that inconsistency from Joe Biden has been a concern for a long time. And I will say to the question, the biggest question is, how would this happen? Unless Democrats are able to convince two people, Jill Biden and his and President Biden's sister, Valerie Biden Owens, to go to him and tell him that he has to step aside, it's almost impossible for it to actually happen. Those are the people that he listens to the most. Those are the people that helped him make the big decision on actually running in 2020. If you can't convince them to convince him, it's not changing. And so kind of the wish casting that's happening at this point in the Democratic Party, it seems unlikely. And it's also just going to make it more difficult to beat Donald Trump as they get closer, because it makes him look weak and it makes him look like he doesn't have the support of his party.
Critically important time, critically important conversation. I heartily urge people to read both what Eugene and Nick have written over the last 24 hours. And I thank you both for coming on the program.
Hey there, MSNBC fans. I'm Luke Russert, and be sure to join me, Rachel Maddow, Jen Psaki, Lawrence O'Donnell, Steve Kornacki, Joy Reid, and many more September 7th in Brooklyn. MSNBC Live Democracy 2024. Click on the link for ticket information. We will see you there.